labyrinth-like walls. And by labyrinth, I'm of course referring to the time-honored classic with David Bowie, which apparently some people find inferior. Oh well, I call them soulless Philistines. This is hypothetically the way to the Giardini Bovoli. I say hypothetically because I'm not actually certain that gate is open. It wasn't back in early or late November, mid-November. So I'm not certain what its status is now. I saw plenty of people standing outside the gate, wishing to enter and finding no joy. So here we are at one of the city gates that opens onto the Belvedere, the sort of, I don't know, cancerous star-shaped fortress from the Renaissance that acted as a defensive bulwark at the edge of this part of the city. It is really just an absolutely gorgeous day. There's no two ways about that. I'm sad that I spent most of it inside. A good 4 hours for my, 3 hours for work this morning, 4 hours for Italian lessons, another hour and a half, 2 hours for making lunch and cleaning up. It's actually warm enough today I could have picnicked. So this is one of my favorite little mini stretches of country road that connects, sort of connects, Oltrarno to the Piazzale Michelangelo through the vineyards. I assume they're vineyards. They could also be olive groves. It's hard to tell because the people who own them are very protective of their estate. And as you may have seen in other videos or albums that I have posted, they've put lovely fresh shards of glass into mortar on the top of their walls to invite any and all who hate life to enter. Those are definitely olive trees, so if that is indicative of what is beyond, then they're olive groves. But what one sees here at the edge is not necessarily what is within. Okay, I grant you the currently bare barbed wire fence is not the most scenic. I'll keep looking over here. In the summer, that barbed wire fence is laced with vines that are covered in leaves. Grapes, I can tell because of the old dried grapes still clinging in spots. Then I'm certain it is quite scenic. Right now it does have a bit of a concentration camp look to it, so. sunlight glinting off that building. Just remarkable. For those of you who don't know, just noticed several squashed on the ground. Do not eat uncured olives. They are not digestible in their uncured form. Olives are put through a brining, curing process that renders them edible to humans. If you were to eat raw olives, you would find yourself rather ill indeed. Hence I say, do not do it, dear viewer. In case you'd ever wondered why olives are always brined, that's why. Certain if you can see that villa off in the distance, that very medieval palazzo-looking structure. I'm actually not certain what that is. Huh. I wonder if that's one of the Medici's country pleasure palaces. Pleasure villas. In the later Middle Ages and Renaissance, many of the great families of cities like Florence had their city homes. Their home certainly seems like a gross understatement of their palaces, but they had their city dwellings, and then they had their country dwellings surrounded by orchards and vineyards and other sorts of agricultural fields and pleasure gardens. That is where people, or the upper crust at any rate, was able to go and enjoy the greenery when they were not needed immediately in the city. Frequently families like the Medici would host soirees and guests of great honor there and put on spectacles. In fact, there's a 15th century dance, first half of the 15th century, called Bel Fiore, which is named after one such country castle by the Marquis of Este, Leonello, before it became a dukedom. The dance is called Bel Fiore, specifically in honor of the Marquis, and hoping, no doubt, that he would provide patronage for the composer of that dance, Domenico da Piacenza. an awful lot of traffic on this road for a tiny country back road. Clop of my shoes, so militant. Really do need to fill in these stones. Yeah, and I know many of you find these vines romantic as they spill across building facades. They are so destructive. You can even see the little holes that the vines have made in the paint. Well, it's a precursor to going much deeper than the paint, dear viewer. Therefore, while they seem so scenic, those vines must go if the buildings are to survive.